It's game day once again for the Arizona Coyotes. We're going to get you ready for their game tonight against the Buffalo Sabres. Plus, we got some latest news for the Arizona Coyotes arena development. We're going to find out what the city of Tempe has in store. All on today's episode of the Locked On Coyotes podcast.
You're Locked On Coyotes, your daily podcast on the Arizona Coyotes, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to the show, everybody. I'm Robyn Leonio. That's Carl Pavlak right beside me. On today's episode of the Locked On Coyotes podcast, I want to thank everyone for making this show your first listen every day. We are free and available on all platforms, including on YouTube. We got a great show for you guys today. Arizona and Buffalo ready to go face-to-face tonight over in Buffalo. We're going to get to that later on in the episode. We have a couple, housekeeping items. First, we've had several people come and reach out to me and the podcast asking if we are going to address the Mitchell Miller situation. I know because Arizona was the team that drafted Mitchell Miller, but has renounced their rights in 2020, Carl. And it's not really our place to talk about it. If you'd like to, you can go ahead and head on over to Locked On Bruins, because the team that signed him and then unsigned him in over a weekend, they have all the latest on that saga. So if you'd like to go ahead and find out about it, be sure to check out Locked On Bruins, our sister podcast.
Yeah. Although the Coyotes were their original team that drafted him, which is noted in every article I've seen.
Yeah.
I don't really like that, but it is. I honestly felt like as soon as the team renounced the draft rights to him, I think that's the first time I've ever seen that happen. Like, I feel there's nothing else for us to say about it. The Coyotes' relationship with Mitchell Miller is non-existent. I don't know how many comments we need to make, other than I have seen people speculate, there's a chance your team would have signed Miller, and that's true because he was reportedly being courted by multiple teams. I don't think that about the Coyotes. There's absolutely no way that they would want to get that PR headache again. So this is one of the few situations where it's like, we've already made that mistake. I doubt we would have made it again.
Exactly. So once again, be sure to check out Locked On Bruins for that if you would like to. But we still got more to get to on this episode. We're going to talk about the Tempe arena situation. We have just a very minor development, Carl. The city of Tempe has put out a statement over the weekend, or just not over the weekend, just yesterday, and my which is only Monday. Wow. We said that they're gonna be meeting in just a couple of days on this Thursday to consider a resolution that would reserve a spot on the Maricopa County May 2023 special election ballot for the for a referendum of the hockey arena. So they're not going to turn it over yet, but they're reserving a spot for it in the case that what they decide later this month does.
Yeah, it does seem like the team is the city is heading towards putting this out to the people of the city of Tempe to vote. Of course, that needs to be on a referendum, and you need to secure a spot on the referendum. Just kind of basic bureaucracy. I don't see this as being something that's outside of the plans for the team. Hopefully, they considered a referendum as a possibility. I do know that it's nice to kind of have a date, May 2023, which is only a couple months away. I remember when it was first announced, I think it was in the SB Nation Slack channel, people were like, wait, Americans have elections in times other than November, and it's like, yeah, there's a lot of elections throughout the year, so it's not like you need to wait a full year for this to happen. It's only gonna be a couple months, and according to Craig Morgan, still fits in the timeline that the Coyotes had for the arena being constructed.
Yeah, obviously, you'd still hope things get done sooner. And they'd like when the news originally came out when we're talking about the date that November 29th date or even November 22nd because it's not a possibility. Where it's just like okay, we would like it to be just approved by then, so we can like for a lot of us reporters, Call we could just get this out of the way. We don't really have to drag on and continue this countdown and continue to talk about it. Like, I want to be able to talk about the TED with something a little more tangible and be like, hey, guess what? It broke ground. Rather
Yeah.
than, guess what? We have a vote coming up.
I mean, honestly, same. I would much rather be in the position we are talking about something definitive. Um, I have seen a lot of people kind of upset that the city council is passing this along to the voters as opposed to just deciding themselves. Some people think it's kind of cowardly. I do not. This is a major project. I feel it's important to have the voters kind of say on it. And that's me as a person. That's not me as a reporter. Not me as a media figure. Not me as a Coyotes fan. Like just the way I prefer government to work is for the people to have a say over significant projects. And I think that this one is pretty well designed to get support from the public. It's up to the Coyotes from this point forward. Or
Absolutely. Is that the coyotes really have to kind of mess things up in order to
yeah,
not to lose the public support. Because as of right now, I believe it was Craig Morgan that also said that the current polling sits at around 60-40 in favor of the project,
yeah,
which is, not a comfortable lead, but it's like, okay, you know what? Like, that's something to work with.
yeah. It's almost 2/3 of the electorate support it. You know, it's not comfortable, but 10 points is pretty significant.
It's
And
outside of the margin of error. So, like,
yeah,
we're talking about, again, you really having to mess up here.
yeah. And you never say never because there's always the chance that there's going to be a scandal between now and May. Hopefully that's not the case. Hopefully, the team learned its lesson. They're going to keep their heads down and just kind of do what they need to do. For right now, they seem to be pretty good on that front. No
Yeah.
controversies.
They're definitely going to need to figure out a way to navigate a massive misinformation campaign that is going to be coming from the city of Phoenix and Sky Harbor Airport. It's going to happen, and we know it. And there are a lot of voters out there who will take that up, take the information up and eat it up like it's actually, true because they don't hear anything else. So they're going to need to find out a way to combat that.
I mean, hopefully they already have. Like this should have been like one of the things when they were planning the arena, a strong possibility that would get referred to a referendum. They have had the chance to know for like months that the airport was against this. So like these are things that should already have been like set
Well,
in
yeah,
place.
they should already have the tactics in place. It's
Yeah.
how they execute those tactics, what in the months, weeks, days leading up to that potential vote in May that really makes a difference.
Yeah. At least it's not coming out of nowhere though. Like it's not like a surprise lawsuit getting like thrown in. These are all
We've been
foreseeable
waiting
things.
for it, right? Like
Yeah.
you and I, like I've even gone on Locked in NHL. We're like, yeah, we're fully expecting that the city of Phoenix and Sky Harbor Airport will be suing the Coyotes in the city of Tempe once the project gets approved.
Yeah. Yep. And, just it's Arizona. There's always the chance that there's going to be lawsuits from the Goldwater Institute. They famously targeted the prior lease agreement between the Coyotes and the city of Glendale. So that's a possibility. But again, this project seems kind of designed to not face those kind of major issues.
Yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot more. There's a lot more like meat to this proposal and to this project. So we'll see what they do with it. I'm really excited to see what they have in store.
Me too.
But we still got more to get to though on this episode of Locked On Coyotes. We're gonna get to the game preview: Arizona Coyotes versus the Buffalo Sabres. That's going to be tonight. We're gonna get to that in just a moment. But first, turning to Carl for a quick word.
BetOnline.net is your number one source for sports betting information, stats, news, and analysis. It's where you can get all the latest odds and trends for every professional and amateur league out there. From football to basketball to soccer and esports, they've got it all at betonline.net. And if you love sports podcasts, you could also find those at BetOnline as well. We are always the fastest and easiest way to get your betting fix. Head over to the website today or use your mobile device to learn more. Bet online, where the game starts.
Thanks again, everyone, for making Locked On Coyotes your first listen today. Afterwards, be sure to make your second listen game to game NHL. Every moment, every top performance, every result. Locked On Game to Game covers every game from across the National Hockey League with local analysis only Locked On can deliver. Follow Game to Game on Locked On NHL, available on the Audacy app, YouTube, and wherever you get your podcasts. But back here on Locked On Coyotes, we got a game to talk about: Arizona Coyotes versus Buffalo Sabres. Carl, your initial thoughts on how you think this game might go?
So the Buffalo Sabres are a team that I'm not really sure of. We expected them to be bad. It looks like they're actually playing a little bit better than we expected, which always kind of makes me nervous. Um, I I kind of see this as a situation where a team like Buffalo is probably not going to have the same issues playing down to Arizona. They're going to be like more kind of like prepared to give it their all to get the 2 points. I think it's surprisingly going to be a more tough matchup than say the Washington Capitals, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, it's a lot of things like that to consider. It is really interesting because Buffalo just did come out of nowhere,
Yeah.
and I think because of that, Buffalo seems like the kind of team that would not take a team like Arizona for granted. Be like, okay, this is a rebuilding team. It's like, yeah, we can kind of lax a little bit. We don't have to
Yeah.
work as hard. I'm not saying every team does that, but it seems like some do. And Buffalo won't be one, like definitely won't be one of those teams. Because of that.
Well, they may still get cocky. I don't want to give them too much credit, but they're a team where it's less forgivable if they're cocky. Like if the Washington Capitals, if the Florida Panthers, they lose to the Coyotes, you're like, oh, okay, you overlooked them. Like that's dumb. You shouldn't do that. Uh, Probably fix that moving forward because you don't want to be a team that overlooks opponents. That's how you end up leaving points behind. But the Buffalo Sabres are one where we should be like, they don't have that same excuse of being a good team, or a great team rather. They are a good team, so you would hope that they would play every game if you're a Sabres fan, but there's no guarantee that they're going to. People get lazy, people slack off, people underestimate teams that they shouldn't.
Absolutely. No, there's a lot of things to consider on that part. Um, but I think other than that, I think it's going to be an interesting game. Trying to look at trying to look at some of the notes here. But I think what there are. Is there any former? I mean, I think
Ilya Labushkin.
there you go. Labushkin's over there, so that's the one. There's one. Be able to catch up with him.
And Vinny Hinostroza is also with
That's
them.
right. Has he been scratched lately? 'Cause hearing someone.
I think so, yeah. Let's see.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
Was
he's only played 6 games. 5 assists, though, in 6 games. That's pretty impressive.
you got to wonder what's going on with him.
I did the injury report. I didn't see him being injured, I don't think. Um, uh, so yeah. I did see that it is there is a chance that Darlene won't be playing, which potentially would be a very good thing for the Coyotes.
Yeah, like not having to go up against one of the Rasmuses.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of people I don't want the Coyotes to take too lightly. Tage Thompson, that 6 point game where he got a hat trick and 3 assists against the Red Wings, that just kind of strikes fear into everyone's hearts. And then Victor uh, Olofsson already has 9 goals in 12 games. That's insane.
Yeah, no, that definitely is insane. I'm looking at it too. I'm just like, and what's really interesting is seeing all that and thinking of the fact that if you look at the cap table, Carl, the Buffalo Sabres are the only team who's actually spending less money than the Coyotes.
Hmm. I mean,
They have a projected cap hit of $64 million, which is just under 22 million, just about $22 million rounded up, um, under the salary cap versus Arizona, which is about 19 million under the salary cap.
that is definitely interesting. I wonder why. I think I can say, uh, is it is Darlene still on an ELC?
Looking at going into there right now. No, Darlene's on a $6 million contract.
Hmm. Wow. Oh,
Um,
but look at the rest of their blue line.
yeah, half of their blue line is all like young players. They got Owen Power, Casey. Let's see, Casey Fitzgerald. Yeah, it is all youngins.
And next to nothing in goaltending, 3.3 million spread across Eric
Eric
Cormier.
Comrie and Craig Anderson. Oh my God! Like, what are they?
I believe Comrie is set to get the start um, for this one. Uh, I mean, they did have Ben Bishop. Uh,
I didn't even know Craig Anderson was still in the league.
yeah. He's got that 35 plus contract.
He's 41.
Good for him. Good for him. But yeah, the Sabres are definitely an interesting team, and they're going to be ones to watch out for in the next coming years. Like all of this cap space, I do kind of wonder what they're going to do with it. Maybe they should get in on the Jacob Chikrin's sweepstakes.
Yeah, well, they are going to have to sign. Well, no, Count Okpozo's 34. Don't know what they're going to do with him. I don't know what they want to do.
That Skinner deal, though. Yeesh. 9
9
mil for
million.
Jeff Skinner.
Yeah, that is something else.
Also, it should be noted, Tage Thompson's contract looks like it's going to kick in next year. And he's going to go from making 1.4 million to 7+ million a year. So
Yeah.
this is like the last year. Uh, they got a couple deals coming off. I don't know. They're not in a cap hell or anything like that.
No, they are set up pretty perfectly. Just like how we hope Arizona's gonna go, right? We hope Arizona is setting themselves up perfectly so that when they're ready to emerge and have all those contracts taken care of, that they're not gonna be in a massive financial rut like the Vegas Golden Knights are,
Yep,
or the Montreal Canadiens are.
definitely.
Because those are the ones where it's just like, how did you guys get yourself in this situation?
Agreed.
Yep, true. True. In just a little bit, though, we are going to preview our predictions. We're going to get to our predictions, kind of take a look at how we think this game is going to go. A lot of different things to consider in just a moment. But first, I want to give you guys a heads up about our partners at SimpliSafe. If you thought about securing your home with home security, but you've been putting it off, you want to listen up right now. Locked On Coyotes listeners can order the #1 rated SimpliSafe home security system for 50% off. This is their biggest offer of the year, and you won't want to miss it. SimpliSafe was named the best home security system of 2022 by U.S. News and World Report for a third year in a row. In an emergency, they got 24/7 professional monitoring agents use Fast Protect technology exclusively from SimpliSafe to capture critical evidence and verify the threat is real, so you can get the priority police response. SimpliSafe is whole home security with advanced sensors for every room, window, and door, HD security cameras for inside and out, smarter ways to detect motion that alert only when a threat is real, and hazard sensors that detect fires, floods, and other threats to your home. Once again, with the top-rated SimpliSafe app, you can stay in complete control of your system anytime, anywhere. Arm or disarm, unlock for a guest, access your cameras, or adjust system settings. Don't miss this chance to save big on the only security system that I recommend. Get 50% off any new SimpliSafe system at simplisafe.com/lockedonnhl. This is their biggest discount of the year. So don't wait. That's simplisafe.com/lockedonnhl. There is no safe like SimpliSafe. Now back here on Locked On Coyotes, we're going to go ahead and go to our BetOnline predictions of the game. We're going to take a look at the odds of BetOnline and make some predictions for the Arizona Coyotes versus Buffalo Sabres, set for 5 p.m. here in Arizona, 7 p.m. in Buffalo, since the game happens over there. Arizona Coyotes, Carl, are 1.5 underdogs at -119, plus 210 if you want to bet on Arizona, -235 on Buffalo. Total points is back at 6.5.
Hmm. Hmm. Again, this one's tough. It's all going to depend on, I think, how Buffalo plays, how they respond to the Coyotes. I think that they are going to respond on time, and I think that that is going to get them the win. In terms of actual score, though, let's go 4-2 Buffalo.
You're going to go 4-2 Buffalo, so just under.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm trying to think how I'm based off the trends. Um, I do think you know what, I'm gonna go kind of agree with you on this game going under. Um, I think I'm gonna go with the same score as you because I'm looking at the possibilities here, looking at the stats and everything. A 4-2 Buffalo score seems like the safe bet.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm looking, there's a lot of prop bets available on BetOnline. You can look at. Um, Obviously, there's just like period totals, alternate puck lines, margin of victory. If you bet Buffalo Sabres by 2, it's plus 450. That's fun. I love looking at prop bets.
Well, one of the things I saw when I was writing the preview for Five for Howling is Buffalo is averaging about 4.08 goals per game, which is, you know, where I get that number from. Coyotes are definitely lower than that, but they don't give up as many. So they tend to give up around three goals per game. Coyotes tend to give up 4.09, so that seems kind of fit. And then just kind of like, I don't know, is the offense going to show up? Are the Coyotes going to get that third goal? Who can say? So this one, I am very much looking at the numbers, kind of see how these two teams have trended recently.
Trends are the most important thing to consider when making when placing these bets. That's how I do it a lot. I always pay attention to the trends, and quite a lot of the time, it helps me out, and I get
Yeah.
these, and I secure the wins on those. But sometimes trends are still just a mirage, and you're still wrong.
Yeah, hockey is a very dumb sport, and anything can happen.
Sports are dumb, Carl. Just sports are dumb.
Sports are dumb. Hockey always feels especially dumb. Like the Coyotes beating the Capitals was just like a dumb outcome, in my opinion. Like it shouldn't have happened. It shouldn't have happened the way it did, but it did, and that's one of the reasons why people love it. Like you can have two teams match up on paper and it looks one way, but when you actually play the game, it's completely different.
Absolutely. Anything else that you want to bring up? Maybe like a player of the game you want to watch out for?
I mean, I gotta go with Nick Ritchie as the person to watch out for. Just the two goals, he leads the team with six. I think he can definitely. He's a good fit for the Coyotes, and I expect him to help and keep contributing the offense.
I'm going to continue to put a watch on the Dylan Gunther because, now that he's staying up, it's like, okay, let's see if this guy has like a game to game improvement. See how like as he continues to get better from already his phenomenal self.
Absolutely, Gunther is definitely a player to watch. Like everyone should kind of keep their eyes on him, see what he's doing,
He's the
just in
future.
general. Yeah, yeah,
He's the
and
future.
like you have to hope that he gets like good matchups. And the Sabres, like we said, they're a very interesting team the way they're constructed. There's potentially some like lineup matches that the coaching staff can exploit.
Absolutely. What would you say is also a key to the game for Arizona to try to win if, you know,
Just
always?
don't take penalties. Be as disciplined as possible. Do not give the Sabres any chances.
Absolutely. Penalties are a big thing that, and really for any team, but especially for Arizona particularly because they've been doing it too much, right?
Hmm.
Bad penalties are what ends up being the doom of them. That's what happened in that really bad game against the Dallas Stars, the final game of the homestand. They took too many penalties and it ended up biting them in the butt.
Definitely.
Any final thoughts you want to give off before we close things off?
Just hope the momentum continues. Hopefully the Coyotes can get a win streak going.
Absolutely. Hopefully, they can prove us wrong and uh, get the bets wrong on us. I mean, like, if you are listening to our advice and taking the bets, maybe not, but you know what? We like looking at both sides, both the betting trends and just hopefully they can just you know keep momentum going and make things exciting.
Yeah, making things exciting is definitely all they can do some days. But this one seems like it should be a fun matchup.
Absolutely. That's going to be it for today's episode of Locked On Coyotes. If you like what you heard, don't forget to leave a review, to like, comment, subscribe if you have yet to already. We are available everywhere you get your podcasts, including on YouTube. Don't forget to interact with us on social media. We're on Facebook, facebook.com/Locked On Coyotes, on Instagram at Locked On Coyotes, and on Twitter at LO_Coyotes. I am personally at Robyn_Leano. That's Robyn with the Y_LEANO. Carl Pavlik is at Carl Pavlik FFH. Interact with us, ask a question you might have, we might answer right back, or in a future episode of the Locked On Coyotes podcast. And as a heads up, we won't have a post game for this game. We are though going to be talking to Brett Farah of the Arizona Daily Star as he gives us a Tucson Roadrunners update. So that's going to be coming up on tomorrow's episode of the Locked On Coyotes podcast. But that's once again it for this episode. Hope you guys are staying safe out there. Hope you guys are staying healthy. And don't forget to howl on.